Hey everyone, welcome back to Football Frenzy. I'm Zoe Alter here with Alex Watts as always. Alex, let's jump right into it. We've been waiting for this moment. Christian McCaffrey finally back in action this week, and he gets hurt again.
Oh, well, he's just not having a good season. I mean, I'm glad it's not this like an ankle injury like it was before, but it's a shoulder injury, which is pretty significant because he's a pretty hard hitting running back. So, I'm a little bit worried for his season coming off like one of the greatest running back seasons ever. I'm just a little bit worried.
Just a little. I mean, it is a little concerning just because, as you mentioned, he is a physical guy and he does use his body. We know he's like Josh Allen in the way where he will use his body to go for that extra yard, even if he sacrifices it. And unfortunately, this season, we've seen more of him being sacrificed for that extra yard. But even with that, he is now considered week to week. And I think it's just a huge blow for the morale of this team because they've been doing I guess they've been doing great, better than expected, right? When he got hurt, and they've been not that they've been functioning well, but they've been sort of functioning without him. And when he was back, you obviously saw them have a much better week. They were almost able to top who they play this week. They
The
did they played the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They were almost able to top the Chiefs this week, which was really impressive. And McCaffrey with the shoulder issue, the thing is he won't play this Sunday. And obviously it's not like the Panthers are even really in the hunt to go far in the playoffs this year or to even make it there. So I don't think that's the big deal. I think it's just he needs to worry about his long-term health. And if you're the Panthers, you got to be careful with him because he is a guy that you get once in a generation. And I don't know if everyone realizes that yet, but especially with the way he played last season, just the heart he has for this game. And I think that's going to be something that's really important is preserving him, taking care of him, and he will help your team win, but you need to use him at the right moments.
Yeah, I agree. It's just really unfortunate
Yeah.
that he's having the injury plague this year.
And also just to see a good guy, like we all know he's a good guy, and to see a good guy go down with something like that hurts extra.
hmm
But talking about another good guy, my favorite good guy in this league, Tua. Do you think he's the real deal? I mean, he has 2 wins in the 2 starts he's had.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's playing fantastic. Somehow he led an almost 0-16 Dolphins team to 5-3. So I'm very impressed with him, and he had a really good week against Kyler Murray, who's a very good quarterback, and they're pretty good defense. So, I'm just pleasantly surprised of how he's been playing.
Me too, but the one issue I have is if you look at it from a grand standpoint of their wins and everything, you're like, great, he's been doing amazing. But if you look at how he played that first start, it wasn't so hot. He was missing wide open receivers, and we saw less of that this week, but there was definitely still some of that. He was, to give him credit, he was 20 for 28. So he didn't have, it wasn't like you look at his week and he's like 14 for 30, right? Like he had a decent week. It's just there are a couple throws where he either threw behind the guy or got lucky because his receiver slowed down or something. But there definitely throws. There were a couple throws that he made where I was like, wow, he's an NFL quarterback. But there were a couple throws that he made where I was like, he is such a rookie. And I know he is
Yeah.
a rookie, so he's allowed to do those things. But we're talking about him as if he's this new MVP. And the people who win Rookie of the Year, they don't look like rookies. And to me, I love him and I want him to succeed. But in my eyes, he still looks like such a rookie.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I mean, he's been out. Well, he hasn't played football in like over a year and a half
Yeah.
before, but I think I think it's great, his comeback story, being drafted fifth overall. And, you know, I'm just very happy for him, but, he's just a rookie. He's
Yeah.
needs to get all the rookie kinks out, and then, he'll be a really good quarterback
He'll
next
get
year.
back there.
Maybe he'll
Also,
be
just
like
the
Lamar
fact that
Jackson.
yeah, oh yeah, Lamar Jackson, because how he's playing this season is how everyone wants to play. But also the fact that it's not like he was thrown in right away because obviously you had Fitzmagic in there first, but it's just the fact that he also is on the Dolphins. You have to remember that. It's not like he's going into this organization that's superior and has so many good players. Like it's still the Dolphins. You still basically only have Devontae Parker, who's what, like 1,000 by now? Like the lesser version of Jarvis Landry. That's all you have on that team. So it's not even like he has people to go and throw to as much. So you have to take that into consideration too. I liked that I saw him more mobile this week. That was something I told you I was looking for him to use his feet, and he did. And I think that's what helped him come out victorious because he did outplay Kyler with his feet, and that was impressive to me. But I want to see him succeed, but I don't think he's at that level yet.
I agree.
All right, recaps. I don't know why we're talking about them, but like I do because they're not great teams, but Patriots Jets. I never thought I would call the Patriots not a great team. But this was a pretty interesting comeback because usually you wouldn't hear about the Patriots almost losing to the Jets, which was, Joe Flacco just playing Joe Flacco ways.
Joe Flacco has, he's been historically good against the Patriots. Mm-hmm. When he was on the Ravens, they beat Tom Brady quite a few times, and he just played really well against the Patriots. I think he just knows Bill Belichick's defense really well, knows his defensive schemes, and he really took advantage of it. And most of the game, he found a guy who he had very good chemistry with, because he played with in Baltimore, Brashad Perriman. And I think it was just a mix of him being accurate, having good chemistry with his receiver, and then knowing Bill Belichick's defense.
Absolutely. I would agree with that one. I mean, I was just impressed with the way he played, some of the throws he made. I know we've talked about him being old, but he was surprisingly accurate and he threw decently. That was something where he wasn't just throwing short passes, he was throwing long passes with accuracy. So that was a lot to see out of him. I did not expect that at all, some Flacco magic. But he did have 3 touchdowns. He had an interception, but that's expected if you're passing most of the time, which he was with the Jets, because the Jets have no run game. And then if you look at the Patriots side of it, it's not like Cam played especially well in the beginning. Cam can't even throw a touchdown to save his life. He ran everything in. So
you're right.
I think that's still a question mark for them. Sure, Cam can be a running back, but him as a quarterback, I get that the Jets have literally nothing to stop you, Cam. That's fantastic for you. And they have no run defense, but they also have no secondary. And the fact that they couldn't take advantage of the Jets having no secondary, I think is a little worrisome if you're the Patriots. And I know everyone's hurt and they have so many injuries and Edelman, whatever, but it just didn't make sense to me where, great, Cam, you can lead a comeback. That's fantastic. But it's also against the Jets. This isn't, in my eyes, this isn't a victory for the Patriots. I don't know if you see it the same way.
Well, Bill Belichick said it himself. They sold out. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars of good players, and now they're all gone because of free agency, because their contracts were up, because they sold out. They won, but they did win 3. They won 3 Super Bowls. So
they won 3 Super Bowls, and I'm not taking any of that away from them. I'm just saying you beat the Jets by 3 because you score 13 unanswered points in the fourth. That's why you win. I think that's a little concerning to me, just because you need to score 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter against the New York Jets, who are 0-9, by the way, now. If you're the Patriots, that's not even a victory. That's a loss of any. This doesn't even count as a tie. For your record, that's great. Enjoy, Cam. Have your win. But this shouldn't even be considered any sort of a victory because they failed on all sides of everything. And for the first 3 quarters, the Jets outplayed them.
Well, yeah. I just don't think that Bill Belichick's coaching style matches Cam Newton. He did much better with Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
And the years that he didn't play well, he was just hurt. But he's a really good quarterback. He's just not a good fit for the Patriots.
And it's not even that he's a good fit. It's just that Belichick can only work with some players. And Belichick, the main thing that Belichick had was his defense. And, you have a couple of setouts this year. You have injuries, and that's tough for him too. So you don't have Brady, and your defense is lacking. And then things start to go downhill. I mean, your defense gives up 27 points to the New York Jets. I'll just leave it at that. That in itself is absolutely.
This is a little bit bold, but this is why I thought that Stephon Gilmore was the most overrated defensive player ever, because he got all of his picks. I don't think he got any picks against good teams. I think he only got picks against bad teams. The team, for the first half of the season, the Patriots were 8-0, and they played 8 teams that were under 500, except for week 1, where everybody was even. And you know what? They started struggling when they played the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Lamar Jackson killed the Patriots franchise.
We can talk Lamar Jackson all you want. If you want, we can talk about how he's struggling, how a hurt Dak Prescott has more yards than him this year so far. We can talk about any of these things if you like, but I think we should move on to the Panthers-Chiefs before you get embarrassed about Lamar.
All
right. Panthers-Chiefs, let's go for it. This was another game that was so concerning because the Chiefs aren't even the Patriots. The Chiefs are so much better than the Patriots, and the Chiefs only won by 2 points versus the Panthers. That is a lot scarier than being the Patriots and almost losing to the Jets.
Well, because Christian McCaffrey was back for one game, and Teddy Bridgewater also had a really good game. He's top 5 in passing yards. Who would have thought Teddy Bridgewater would be top 5 in passing yards? I certainly wouldn't, but
Yeah.
he's just Robbie Anderson is proving himself to be a really good wide receiver, and then they obviously have DJ Moore, and I forgot another really good receiver, but
Dude, they have weapons. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just saying if you're the
I think
Chiefs and you're one of the main, like you're probably like the favorite for the Super Bowl, right? Would you pick anyone else as the favorite? I think the Chiefs are the ultimate favorite for the Super Bowl, especially with how
well,
the Ravens are playing.
I'm not gonna get into that.
Okay. But so he knows, he just won't admit it because that goes against his Ravens. But the Chiefs are the favorite for the Super Bowl. If you lose to a mediocre at best Panthers team, I get they have offensive weapons, but Christian McCaffrey's back. That's great, but it's his first game back from injury. He's not going to be his full strength. And that's fine. Teddy Bridgewater's playing great. But and obviously Teddy Bridgewater didn't outplay Patrick Mahomes if you look at the stats. Christian McCaffrey did a lot for the team. I get that. But even with Christian McCaffrey, does Christian McCaffrey lift a sucky Panthers team all the way up to the Chiefs level? I don't think so.
I don't know. I think the Panthers have just played really tough teams. I think they had one of the hardest schedules coming into the season, and that's really proved to be a challenge because they've just played really good teams. And I think they're a good football team, in all honesty. I think their defense is lacking a little bit, but I think that their team, they have a really good offense and good coaching too.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from the Panthers. I think they played really well. I think they showed up. It wasn't just their passing. I mean, they had the passing. Teddy Bridgewater threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 1. Christian McCaffrey caught 1, ran for 1. And then if you look at the rushing yards comparison, Kansas City had 36 compared to Carolina's 104. So obviously, if you look at the numbers like that in terms of rushing, the Panthers way outplayed the Chiefs. But then, of course, you look at the Chiefs passing game, and Patrick Mahomes goes off as he always does with 4 touchdowns and over 350 yards.
It's ridiculous.
So you expect Patrick Mahomes to show up, but if there's a day where he doesn't show up like this, the Chiefs are screwed.
I just want to say I've never seen a player have 25 touchdowns and 1 pick halfway through the season. I think Mahomes is going to go win the MVP again over Russell Wilson. I want him to win MVP over Russell Wilson because who does that? Who throws for 25 touchdowns and 1 pick 9 weeks into the season?
Yep, exactly. And he should.
Crazy.
He's leading. I get that he may have a better team if you look at it because he has some sort of a defense where the Seahawks defense sucks, but he's leading his teams to victories. And at the end of the day, the MVP is about how you play, but it's also about how you affect your team. And Patrick Mahomes, I get that Russell Wilson is doing everything for the Seahawks, but sometimes a player can't make a team win if he's doing everything. But Patrick Mahomes is one of the main factors why this team is winning so much, even if they're only winning by 2 points to the Panthers, but still a win, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Predictions for this week. We just talked about the Seahawks, so let's continue with them. Why not? Seahawks play the Rams, 425 game. Seahawks are 6-2. Rams are 5-3. They're battling for the first place in the division. What do you think?
Well, honestly, I could not tell you. It's a really good defense versus a really good offense, and I think it's just a matter of containing Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson doesn't have a good game, then the Rams are going to pull away, but I just don't know. This is a really tough decision to make.
It is a tough decision to make. I mean, I think if you look at it in comparison of the defense, the Rams have the 2nd overall defense and the Seahawks have the 31st overall defense.
That's crazy.
So each a point away from the highest and lowest. So they're at far ends of the spectrum. So if you look at that by itself, then you look at the Rams, who offensively, obviously they're just coming off a bye. So not counting last week because it was a bye. Their last 3 games, they're averaging only 19 points per game. So you put up 19 points per game, and then you bring that into a game where the defense you're playing absolutely sucks. So I think that's interesting because you see an offense that's not doing so hot versus a defense that's absolutely collapsed, and then you see a Seahawks offense that has been rolling a little bit versus a Rams defense that has been shut down. So as you said before, it's just going to be how well the Seahawks offense can execute against the Rams defense. And if the Rams can just step up their offense even a little bit, this game is so theirs. It's crazy.
I know I think it's a huge mismatch on both sides because, at least one half of the field is going to overpower the other. And it's going to be a tough chippy divisional game, like most divisional games.
I mean, I'm excited to see that one definitely. And another game that I'm so excited to see, I've been looking forward to this one for a while, just because I'm kind of obsessed with the Titans right now. Don't know why, but Colts Titans, just because I think this is a really interesting division to look at too. These two teams also same records, so 5-3 for the Colts, 6-2 for the Titans, are fighting for that first place spot. But it's interesting because last year, obviously, the Rams and the Seahawks were both, they both fought for that spot. But last year in this division, it was the Texans that had the spot. And right now, they're completely out of it. They're 2-6. They're not even making the playoffs. But these are two teams that want it so bad, and two teams that people usually count out. People don't usually think of the Titans and the Colts as the teams who are going to come out of nowhere. And recently, I get that the Titans have had that title a little more, but these are two teams that are quite underrated if you think about it.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this is also going to be another, pretty chippy divisional game because it's just two teams that are really well matched with each other.
I mean, they are. And then also the thing is that for me, even though they play twice in the next 3 weeks, I think this game is going to set the tone for who wins the division because you go in, you see each other, you know how the other one plays. So personally, I don't know who you think is going to win, but I think the Titans are going to win, right? Do you agree or you think Colts?
I think it depends. I think it depends on how Philip Rivers plays because, he's coming off of a not so good week against the Ravens. And, I gotta give some credit where credit is due. Good defense really carried the Ravens. But anyway, we're talking about the Colts. I think it just depends how Philip Rivers responds because he's having a pretty decent season. And I think that if he can really get the job done, then he'll put the game away.
Okay, so if Philip Rivers plays well, the Colts. If he doesn't, then the Titans. But say you go with Philip Rivers and he does well, the Colts win. The next time they meet, the Colts still carry that same energy into when they play the Titans. And obviously they have a game in the middle and things can change, but they carry that energy. And the Titans are going to want revenge, but the Colts have that game up on them already. So I think whoever wins this game is just poised to win the division.
Yeah, I 100% agree. However, I think that something really important that we have to talk about is if Derrick Henry will run all over their defense because they actually have the third-ranked defense, the Colts, and it's another really tough defense that they're playing, like the Steelers, and they played the Steelers and lost because they have a really good defense, and this is also, I think they have the second-ranked run defense in the league, so, I think that it's going to be a really tough, chippy game again, and Derrick Henry is really going to have to show off if he wants to lead his team to victory, and so does Ryan Tannehill.
That's true. He's going to have to show off, but also you have to remember there's a difference between first overall defense and any other overall defense because you can have a couple teams that are all jumbled up around there, but the person who's at the top is up there for a reason. And Derrick Henry still wasn't completely shut down by the Steelers, right? He still scored touchdowns. He still played well. So if he was able to do that against the best of the best, I think he's going to be perfectly fine against the Colts. Sure, they might be near the Steelers, but they're not the Steelers defense. They're not better than the Steelers defense. And if Derrick Henry can do what he did to the Steelers, at least repeat that, which I think he's going to do more than that. But if he can at least repeat that, I think the Titans have this one in the bag.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah. Phil Rivers can play however he wants to play, but at the end of the day, Derrick Henry's a beast. And if he comes through, and the Titans get the game.
Yeah, I completely agree.
All right, let's move to fantasy. So I'll say mine and then you can say yours. My guy this week is J.D. McKissic for the sole reason that, he's a former Lion, so I gotta love the kid, love him so much, him and Theo Riddick forever. But reason that I really think this is a good pickup this week is one, because Kyle Allen is out. So J.D. McKissic is going to get more opportunities, no question. Another thing is that this week in week 9, he led all running backs in pass routes. So he was on the field for most pass routes. He had a league high 31 pass routes this week. So 14 targets, and maybe he didn't convert all of them. He didn't get as many rushes, even though he is a running back. I think he is going to get the looks that other players aren't going to get. So obviously you have to weigh the balance of looks versus is he actually going to do anything with the looks he gets? But he has to get looks in this game. And I think that's really important to count because a lot of players aren't getting looks, and that's why they don't even have a chance to produce, but he's going to have a chance. So if he produces, that's the question mark, but he's going to get the chance to do it. So I think he's a good guy to pick up just because if it's honestly on him if he gets the looks and can't produce. Like, that's on him. But if you bring a guy
Mm.
onto your team and start him this week, or if you need an extra flex player because of all these crazy injuries that are going on, and you get a guy that gets 10 targets, I mean, most of the time he's going to at least catch a few of them. So he's going to have a
Mm.
chance to be productive. He's going to have a chance in the red zone if they ever get there. So I think he's a good person to pick up. That's my piece. Alex, go for it.
All right. Well, that is a good player to pick up. And my player this week is Logan Thomas, he's the tight end of the Washington football team. And I chose him because in ESPN, he's only rostered 16%, but also ranked the 18th tight end, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I think he's a really good player. And, Alex Smith always has a way with his tight ends. I remember in 2011, 2012 in San Francisco, he had Vernon Davis, who had a very good season with Alex Smith. So I'm going to say pick him up all the way because now that Alex Smith is starting, he's going to have a big role.
I like that one a lot. And of course, there's always a run on tight ends. Always. Even when you draft early in the season, tight ends are far and few to come by. And I think if you have a guy that even potentially has some star potential, I think it's worth it to at least stash him on your bench because if someone gets hurt or if he has a breakout game, everyone's going to be looking for him. And at a measly 16% rostered, you're going to get him no problem.
Yeah.
So I'd say a lot of benches are extended just because of Corona. So if you have the spot, it's worth it to pick him up just to keep him there. Just if anything, so no one else can get him. That's what I always do.
Yeah, I just picked him up, and I dropped Jared Cook, who's not having a good season.
Mm-hmm.
I picked him up I actually picked up Jared Cook last week. Thought that he would play well, but he didn't. So
I mean, I was ahead
Logan
of the
Thomas.
game.
It is.
I picked up Logan Thomas last week, so I'm just too ahead of the game. But if we're talking, I mean, in red zone this week, I was not very ahead of the game. I was quite behind. I've been bragging to Alex nonstop, if you guys have been listening week to week, about my 3 to 3 weeks. But this week I went a nice 0 for 3. And Alex
karma. It's karma.
It is karma for me mocking you all the time. But Alex got a nice 3 for 3 week. So if we look back at the questions from the 4th, which is a week ago, the first one was who rushes for more yards, Kyler Murray or Tua? Me believing in Tua, I said Tua, but Kyler did rush for more. And passing wise, Tua did outplay Kyler, but it came down to the run game, and Tua got the game. But this is what we were talking about before with the rookie, and Kyler did manage to, he's the veteran, he came out with it, so you get that point. For the next one, who has more passing yards, Josh Allen or Russell Wilson? Looking at this one, I said Russell Wilson just because I thought the way the matchup played out, but the Bills played better than the Seahawks. They won the game, and so did Allen, which gave you the matchup win. And then the last one was, do the 49ers put up over or under 2 touchdowns against the Packers? I said under, you said over. They did go over, which was completely surprising to me because I don't know what happened to the Packers defense. But so you got that one. So a nice 3 for 3 week. Congratulations. I will be back. I promise I will be back and better than ever.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see. So if we look at this week, because we have to make the predictions for me to be back and better than ever. First one, who will rush for more yards? Your favorite, Lamar Jackson or Cam Newton?
I think you know where this is going. Lamar Jackson, obviously, because he tends to run more, and there are more design runs for him. And Cam Newton is 31, 32 now, so he doesn't run as much as he used to. So I think it's going to be Lamar Jackson.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you just for the fact that I know Cam, the only thing he managed to do this week was with his legs. But the thing is that the Ravens defense is going to shut down Cam. And playing against the Ravens defense versus playing against the Jets defense is a whole nother level of different. And if Cam's coming into this game thinking that he's going to be able to use his legs to get through, he's going to be sorely disappointed. And also just Lamar against a Patriots defense who we've talked about this whole time, who is really hurting. I don't even think it's a question. I think Lamar takes it easy.
All right. Respectable.
All right. Yeah, very respectable. So for the next one, who will throw for more touchdowns? Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa? These are two of my favorite guys. So I'll have an opinion on whatever you say.
All right. So I think I'm going to go Justin Herbert because even though Tua is coming off of a really good week, I think Justin Herbert's been more consistent. Even though Tua has only started 2 games, I think we've seen Justin Herbert throw for 4 touchdowns in a game. So I'm going Justin.
I do like that pick a lot, and if you had said Tua, I would have picked Justin. But I'll go with Tua, and this is why I'll go with Tua. Just because of the reason that because Justin Herbert has so much offensive production and throws so many touchdowns, I think you can expect Tua that if he wants his Dolphins to win this game, he's going to have to throw the ball. He's not just going to get away with his legs. And the other reason is that both of these obviously rookies. Justin Herbert sometimes plays like a veteran, but if you look at, you and I were talking about before how he played in the Raiders game, he went to the same play twice for the touchdown, for at the end of the game when the call was reversed. But I don't like his receiver selection. That's my problem with Justin Herbert, is that I think when he's out there, he's a smart guy. But if you have the option to throw to a guy like Hunter Henry or Keenan Allen, and you go to someone random in the corner, I think I get Mike Williams, whatever, he's tall and everything, but that sometimes he has issues with his hands. And then you go again to some guy no one's ever even heard of. I forget his name. You have one of the best receivers in the league in Keenan Allen, who specializes in late game catching touchdowns in the slot. And you design the same play, so everyone in the world knows what you're doing. That corner has already defended that pass, so obviously he knows how to defend it. And you throw the same exact pass to a different player where your player before just got hurt, so you're putting your player at risk again. That's my issue. That's why I'm picking Tua.
Okay, Zoe, that was a great tangent that you just went on.
Thank you.
All right, next question is, will Alex Smith, not Will Smith, that's an actor, will Alex Smith throw for over under 3 touchdowns in his first start since 2018? Mind that this is against your Lions.
Okay, the Lions are not good. I know this. I've realized this. They suck. I will be the first to tell you they suck. But Alex Smith has not played in the first start since 2018. And I don't believe so much. It's not that I believe so much in the Lions defense. It's just that I don't think he's going to throw more than 3 touchdowns, because that would be a Patrick Mahomes performance. And I don't know if he has that in him. Sure, it's the Lions and that's possible, but I'm not sure. Romeo Okwara has been pretty good. He's been providing the pressure, getting the sacks. So it's not like Alex Smith he's going to have to push himself out of the pocket. And he hasn't been used to that. Last time he went out of the pocket, you know what happened to him. So I don't know if there's PTSD there or something with his mind, but I'm just going to say under, just because I don't think it's possible that he can put up 4 touchdowns all in the air.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you with that one, because, Alex Smith is undefeated against the Lions in his whole entire career. So I'm going to say that he's going to go over 3 touchdowns, because the Lions have a terrible defense. Secondary, I think, who's going to get burnt a lot? Jeff Okudah.
Jeff Okudah has been burnt, but he also has like a lot of non-separation between players, and other than a few occasions, he's been pretty good. Also, True Font is back, which is fantastic. Collins has been playing his butt off. So
like Desmond Trufant is going to do anything.
Who is Alex Smith throwing to?
He's throwing to Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's really good.
Who Okudah's going to be on? That's fine. He can get burned however you want. Throw another safety there, and you have no one else to throw to. Your guy Logan Thomas. Hail Logan Thomas.
All right.
That's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday when I win this week. But we'll see you next Wednesday. Right. I'm Zoe Alter here with Alex. As always. We'll see you guys later.